Hello and welcome back to another episode of the On the Sideline podcast with Jackson and Kyle. I am Jackson, and I'm joined here, as always, by Dan Campbell's number one fan, Kyle. Kyle, how's it going?
Doing pretty good. Yes, the biting kneecaps are back. We are fully back in on the Dan Campbell train. Never worried.
Yes. I should mention at the top of the show, sorry we're coming at you. Well, we had a late scheduling change, so a little bit early, so apologies about that. But hopefully people can, if they tune in an hour from now, can at least start over and watch the show from there. You don't have to watch it live. It's fun to watch it live, but you don't have to.
Yeah, we got plenty of options for you to tune into the podcast. You can even listen to it on our only audio-only feeds.
Exactly. We got that plug out of the way. Don't even have to do it at the end of the show. Plenty of stuff that we will be getting into, though, in this episode, Kyle. We have 16 games to preview. We have a game to recap. Lots going on.
Yeah, lots going on right in the thick of the season. We have, is this our last week without bye weeks for a little bit?
Yeah, next week is the bye week start. And then at the end of the season, there's no bye weeks, but who cares? Because there's, half the games don't count at that point.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody still technically has a chance right now, even the Saints.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Never know. Can they perform? Hey, last year, they are not as bad now as they were good the first two games last year.
Yeah, that's true. Last week was pretty bad.
That was it. That was the rough one. Let's get into the Lions-Ravens. Can we talk about how good the Lions are? Like, why is the conversation all about Lamar Jackson and the Ravens here? This was an awesome Lions win, and I think maybe we can just say that Dan Campbell and Ben Johnson are both smart. Maybe that's what's happening here.
Yeah, there's a lot of good coaching in that Detroit room, and there's still a lot of good coaching in that Detroit room. So it definitely felt like we overreact to everything, right? If the Lions get crushed week one, all of a sudden it's Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn are gone, the sky is falling, all this stuff. If the Ravens lose in week 3, then all of a sudden it's that team's never winning a Super Bowl. That's never happening. I still think the Ravens are fine. I think there are things you can nitpick about this team. We'll probably talk at the end, but I think this was the Lions story this game. They came out and punched the team in the mouth. They look very good on the offensive line, which is something we've highlighted after week one. Is this now a concern? It's looked very good the last 2 weeks. They've run the ball incredibly well. I mean, the numbers in this game are just atrocious. 224 yards rushing, 5.9 yards per carry. Both of your running backs get a couple touchdowns. Everything there was awesome, I think, overall. So Detroit looks fully back. I even think their defense is better than what they played in this game. And that's just mainly Lamar Jackson and these guys are going to get theirs. So I think they're really good. I think they're right back in the conversation and have to be put in a contender tier.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's weird because, after week one, I kind of was like, okay, this is an issue. I think it was fair to have questions going in. They have the offensive line, a personnel that has changed. They have a new offensive coordinator, and Ben Johnson's gotten a lot of credit for what's gone on with Detroit. And so I think I was just like, I don't know how this is going to work. And then week one happens. It looks like a disaster. And I'm like, oh no, are the Lions just not good? And then maybe just had a bad week, it seems like, because this looks like the Lions. Kyle, this is the best 2-week stretch the Lions have had in over 60 years. They never had a 2-week stretch with Ben Johnson where they scored this many points in back-to-back weeks.
Yeah, I mean, they've been the best offense in football basically since everyone said they're really concerned. So
right.
I think we can go ahead and say the concerns are over. Goff looks more like himself from the last few seasons. And like I said, with these two running backs, I mean, you can do anything. I just feel like with these guys, with Amon-Ra St. Brown, who, I mean, if there's one takeaway from this game, Amon-Ra St. Brown just absolutely took Marlon Humphrey's lunch money, it feels like a lot of this game. And that was a really impressive performance for him. And like I said, I'm not concerned about either of these two teams. I think there are a few things you can nitpick with either ones. And I think specifically because they lost, more people are going to nitpick the Ravens side, but it has nothing to do with the Derrick Henry fumble things. I think that's a blip. I think this offense is just fine. It put up plenty of points in this game. The only things I have concerns about for the Ravens is Marlon Humphrey stunk this year so far, but is this just an early stretch thing? And then B, I mean, they didn't look good this game, for sure. But like this defensive line has also just been pushed around. It feels like to start the season, and this is a group with a few of those guys in the middle that we just kind of come to expect to be really good, and they just haven't looked really good in the middle with Matabuke, Jones, and Broderick Washington.
Yeah, and Matabuke being out this game, I think definitely hurt things. I don't know how much Kyle Van Noy being out hurt the run defense necessarily, but yeah, I mean it's very true. But again, you just have to think about this too, like how much of it is just Bills have a great offensive line, Lions offensive line is still even with the new interior, they still have 2 great tackles and they're still run blocking well. So I don't know. I mean, we can do the Ravens. It's like the Marlon Humphrey thing is weird. He's currently PFF's 100th graded corner out of 102 eligible. He's playing the slot primarily. Part of me wonders, like, he did that last year. It worked out. Like, is this just a bad stretch? What's going on there? I actually think like the rest of the depth in coverage is playing okay. I also like, Malachi Starks hasn't been maybe what you were hoping for right away as well. But like, I think the Ravens are going to figure out a way to make their defense not terrible, right? They did this last year. I'm just going to bet on that. And the offense I still think is really good if Derrick Henry stops fumbling. Like,
yeah,
again, the Ravens are 1-2. We'll talk about how they might end up 1-3 soon, but like, I have concerns about them long term. Can they beat the Chiefs in the playoffs? Can they beat the Bills in the playoffs? Can they beat the Chargers in the playoffs? I don't know because they aren't right now. They're not, the Chiefs maybe, but they're not beating those other 2 teams. Granted, they almost beat the Bills in the week 1. So like, they lost to 2 good teams. I'm not going to panic, but definitely, I'm not even looking where the panic button is. But I'm like, I'm like, okay, if another loss like this, we might have to find out where the panic button is.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. I mean, the thing is like you lost to 2 contenders by 1 score.
Yeah,
in the first 3 weeks of the season, like everything changes after that point. Like plenty can change still from there. I still think, like I said, I still think they're going to be fine. And if your biggest concern is does Marlon Humphrey stink now, my guess is probably not, and it's going to figure itself out. So I think overall it's going to be fine. Like I said, this was a 1-score game. Granted, they went up by 2 scores. There was a late touchdown, whatever. But I mean, it was a pretty competitive game until that fumble anyways. So I don't really have an issue really with the Ravens at all. And I think that they're going to be just fine, I think, going forward.
Yeah. They also had a goal line stop. It got stopped at the goal line as well. So like, I think this game was more about the Lions than the Ravens. Any final thoughts or ready to move on?
No, we can move on.
Okay, Kyle, I have retaken the lead in the Pick'em show. You locking up against Mac Jones. Never lock up against Mac Jones, Kyle, which means you give me a game first. Where are you going?
Yeah, not a great week for me, so I need to lock in here. And I'm going to stay with the team I did lock up last week that failed me. I'm going to go with the Thursday night one. I always say Thursday night's wonky. It's also wonky whenever the NFC West plays each other. So give me the Seahawks at the Cardinals.
Yeah, I mean, last year we saw these were 2 very hyped up games going in. The Seahawks won both. I feel like, so I went back and watched Kyler Murray's tape last week, and I feel like I kind of owe him an apology because I put some of the blame on him after that game. But the receiving core, I almost compare this to like, remember how Lamar Jackson had the MVP season, and then like it seemed like he couldn't get back to being an elite quarterback for a couple years because they didn't have a very good receiving core. And it's like once they got the receiving core back to being good, then like we've seen him being an elite quarterback again. Well, I'm not saying Kyler Murray will be an elite quarterback if you get better receivers, but like he could use some better receivers. I don't love the receiving core there, even if they have some okay players. We know DeMarvin and Harrison Jr. issues right now. I still think he's fine. He's not a number 1. And with the way the Seahawks cover, I just think the Seahawks are a better team right now. So I wasn't planning on doing this, but I forgot to come up with a lock. And let's just lock up at the start of the show, Kyle. I'll lock up Seattle here.
All right at the top. Here we go. I don't think that's. I would never lock up a Thursday game in my life, but I like the logic here, just based on the paper matchup. Because I think the biggest problem the Cardinals are having right now is their receivers aren't really performing to what you need, and are they going to be able to move the ball and get enough separation against the Seahawks secondary, which is really, really good? So I do see the logic to it for sure. I do think these 2 teams are pretty competitive and potentially pretty even if they both play up to their standards. But we've seen one team the last 2 weeks play really well, and we've seen one team basically the first 3 weeks, even though they're 2-1, I don't think they've played up to the standard of their rosters. So I completely understand it where that's coming from.
Yeah, I think I'll say the Jackson Smith and Jigba thing is fascinating. He's playing at such a high level right now that even if they're not getting a ton of stuff from the other guys, because I mean that's the other it kind of weird where it's like the Seahawks are all one guy, the Cardinals have a bunch of like players, but who's the number one other than Trey McBride, who is a tight end, but he's the number one. So it's like can Arizona, if they can limit Jackson Smith and Jigba defensively, is that maybe your key to being able to, to slow Sam Darnold down, who I think is, I thought Darnold played really well against, albeit a not great Saints team last week. Like, I think so far the Seahawks, like this Darnold move has worked through 3 weeks. It's only 3 weeks, but like with what Gino's been all right, but like Darnold has given you probably the same level of play and is a lot younger.
Yeah. It's definitely worked so far. I agree with you. Like that could be the case, but like we've also haven't seen someone stop Jackson Smith and Jigba this year. And I don't think this team has I don't know if Phil Johnson's equipped to do that in his 4th NFL game. So it's definitely a debate for how that could go down. But, he's 124 yards, 103 yards, 96 yards for the first 3 weeks of the season. He's been basically a top 5 receiver in football performance-wise on stats to start this season. I think he's been right up there with everybody else. And I think it's a tough matchup for anybody in Arizona secondary. That's probably the weakest part of their defense still. So I think that they have a tough task, but it's going to have to be a strength in numbers thing. They're going to have to get Darnold under pressure and make that happen, which they have a defensive line that is capable of doing that. They just have to consistently get him under pressure and make tough throws for him.
Yeah, I don't think this is a guaranteed win or anything. That's not why I'm locking it up. It's just 1.5 point spread feels like that's worth it. But we'll see. I mean, opportunity, again, huge opportunity for the Cardinals. We keep saying, when are they going to finally win one of these games? This is an opportunity on prime time. Go 3-1 and show that if you want to be America's team and a playoff team, this is your opportunity.
Yeah, got to win these division games, especially when, you have to win it. So let's see what they can do, and you don't want to fall behind 0-2 in the division.
Yeah. Kyle, let's move on. I'm going to give you a game. You gave me a very interesting game. I'm giving you, I guess, interesting for different reasons. I mean, these teams are combined 5-1. Jaguars taking on the Mac Jones 49ers. I don't know what to make of really either of these teams, so I'm just not going to pick it. Who do you have in this one?
Yeah, I mean, this probably is the right pick here. I mean, it's just been so bizarre. I don't love either of these two teams, but I am going to take the 49ers. Like, Can't
pick against Mac Jones back-to-back weeks.
Exactly. That's basically what it is. I don't trust this Jaguars offense to get it done. And I think the 49ers defense has been playing very well. Yeah. So I do think there is something there. I do think since they've added more snaps to Travis Hunter in the secondary for Jaguars is very good. And I think they had the matchup advantage, even if Jennings comes back against Jenny and Ricky Pearsall. But that being said, I still think there's enough juice in this 49ers offense, especially with McCaffrey back there, to make it happen. And then, I just think that it comes down to, can they slow down the Jaguars offense, which I think a lot of teams can right now.
Yeah. I agree. Lawrence hasn't played great. He will make good throws. Like, he's been inconsistent, but it just hasn't. Yeah. That's kind of his career at this point. That's who he is, I guess. Maybe he'll be like Daniel Jones and go to a new team and win the MVP. But for this, like, I don't know. There's that. I don't know if they have a ton of, again, but the Brian Thomas Jr. thing is weird. Like, usually you would say this is the game he has to get going. If the Jaguars are going to win, he has to get going here, because if he is Brian Thomas Jr., I do think for San Francisco, as deep as they are, do they have a guy who can go on, who can cover an elite wide receiver? But right now, the Jaguars aren't playing like they have an elite wide receiver.
Yeah, he's not playing like one now for sure. So it'd be nice to see him get going a little bit, but it's definitely a tough thing. I mean, we saw, like I said, we saw Smith and Jigba go up against this team, but we haven't seen it consistently where guys are getting open and making plays. I mean, Marvin Harrison did get open a few times, but he also isn't playing like an elite wide receiver. So can they create some big plays? I think that this Jaguars offense is sorely lacking that. And I think that's definitely what I'm looking at right now is like, is this team going to be for real? It's going to start with the offense improving dramatically.
Yeah. Nick Bosa will not be playing. Obviously, there was the news of him with the bad injury, which is unfortunate. The tackles for the 49ers have been very good. Jaguars pass rushers have been very good. That's a really interesting matchup. Who can win there? Trent Williams at 37 is still playing great football. Whoever, that's going to go a long way as well. If they can get the pressure on Jones consistently, it could be, because the one thing the one concern is like, you still are you're picking a team that's playing a quarterback that has, people are wondering, is he even going to be a backup?
Yeah. No, I get it. That's definitely a concern. I don't love it, but
yeah,
at the very least, for the first 2 weeks, he's played good enough to win, and that is something you gotta hope for. And I think that there's still a possibility he plays good enough to win. But Brock Purdy is practicing, albeit limited, but we'll see if he's going to be ready to go too.
Yeah. All right, that's true. Let's move on. Kyle, give me a game.
All right. There's a couple games with a little bit of tighter lines, but I am pretty interested in this game and your thoughts. And it's suddenly maybe the second marquee game of the week, or top 3 at the minimum. Let's do Colts at Rams.
Yeah. Now I'm thinking about it, this should have been my lock. I'm going with the Colts. Kyle, despite me not thinking Daniel Jones is an MVP, which of course I got criticism for in the comments last week for that one. I like this Colts offense, and I had this thought of like, who's the worst player on the Colts starting 11? Is it like Alec Pierce? Who's like a really good like number 2 option? Like that's probably it. Like they're so deep there right now, and I don't love this Rams coverage unit. You saw once the Eagles started throwing there, they were able to have success. And Matthew Stafford, I think he'll be able to move the ball in this game. He'll be able to kind of use his eyes to find the soft spots in the zone coverage and all that. But he is someone who will put the ball in harm's way. I didn't think he had his best game against the Eagles, despite the fact that they got up to a big lead. So yeah, I'm gonna lean Indianapolis here.
I agree with it on paper and what we've seen from Indianapolis this season. It is a great litmus test, though, because this team is obviously very, this wasn't the expectations we had for the Colts going into the season. They performed very well, but their teams, I think it's right to say they've played 3 teams with a combined record of 1-8. So,
hey, nothing wrong with being 3-0 against teams that are 1-8. That's totally reasonable.
All you can do is win the games in front of you. I have no problem with it, but this is a great test. They have a couple great tests here coming up. This is the first one on the road to Los Angeles. This Los Angeles team is playing really well despite that dumb loss to Philadelphia last week. And I think it's a really good team still. I agree with you. I think the secondary is the weak spot of this team, but they still have some super athletic pass rushers that are going to cause some problems. Really good guys on the interior. They're going to try and get at Daniel Jones that way, confuse him a little bit. But Shane Steichen is dialing up everything really well right now. They have Tyler Warren, who is kind of that safety blanket. And, yeah, I think the Colts have a lot of advantages here that they could take advantage of. So we'll see if they can maximize their opportunities here, continue going on against a really good team. But this Colts team is buzzing right now, and we'll see if it continues.
Yeah, I do also like what the Colts can do with the interior defensive line. I think there's another advantage for that. Because, again, it's weird where it's like, all across the board, I think the one thing you look at for the Colts is they're not great on the edge, but they get enough pressure up the middle. And, again, Stafford, who is playing great football outside of some misses last week, is, he's not the most mobile guy. I don't think that's going to be too much of a criticism. So you maybe can't exploit that too much there. So, yeah, I like this Colts team. I guess the one thing you worry about is still, again, can Stafford just like it's kind of like a base zone defense. Can Stafford just exploit that with his, the way he does from time to time? And maybe so. I get why some people would pick the Rams to win, but I don't know, 3.5. I mean, come on, what everyone's fading the Colts. Yeah, what's going on?
Everyone's jumping off the bandwagon now. People want to call this team's last year's Saints so badly. Yeah. And I think they're performing way better than that. I really do. I don't know. I do expect this Colts team to win double-digit games as long as there's not some freaky injury, knock on wood. But I expect them to win double-digit games. They are playing really, really well.
Yeah. If Daniel Jones is Derek Carr, this is a playoff team pretty easily. I feel like everyone's freaking out about Daniel Jones, and it's like there's 53-man roster. Again, look at. Where is the weakness on this team? Maybe depth corner, edge rusher, and that's it. They're at least good everywhere. The whole criticism of the Colts is well, what are they great at? Well, like when you have a good quarterback, maybe you don't need to be great. And also they have Jonathan Taylor and the receivers are playing really well. Josh Downs is playing awesome. I don't know. I'm a big fan of this Colts team.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think everything about them, they're checking all the boxes right now for sure. And they're getting good quarterback play. And, I do think the receivers are the interesting thing too, because this team, these guys really struggled last year. Michael Pittman really struggled last year when he was on a trajectory of being a really good number one receiver. And now it seems like he's kind of returned to form and he's gotten a quarterback that's kind of hitting him in his spot. So we'll just, it's still a litmus test and I want to see it. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if the Rams win this game or even win it by a touchdown or more. But I think this Colts team has given us enough leeway to say hey, I trust them a little bit here.
Yeah, the only guy who's having a career year is Daniel Jones. Everyone else is playing we've seen them do this before. I guess Josh Downs too, but we've seen them play. Even Josh Downs we've seen play well. Everyone we've seen play well, even if they're playing a little bit better this year. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Should be a fun one. Kyle, I'm gonna give you a game. I'm gonna go with Bears Raiders.
Bears Raiders. Yeah, I think this is a fair pick. I was looking at this one too as potentially my next game. I am going to take the Bears. I gotta see this Raiders thing figure itself out before I can get back in. I think Ben Johnson is going to have some things dialed up for this defense, which really struggled last week. I think the offense is still struggling. I mean, you saw that stat of what they're doing with the offensive line and run blocking, which is just atrocious. So yeah, I think the Raiders got to prove it to me again that this team can be capable of winning some big games. So definitely give me the Bears here, and I think the Raiders are, still searching for themselves to start the year.
Yeah. The stat of Ashton Genty currently is sitting at -1, or I think I saw it was -2 yards after contact on the season. So on average, he is getting hit before the line, or sorry, I said that wrong. Essentially, he's getting contacted on average before the line of scrimmage, as opposed to above the line of scrimmage, which is usually what you would want. Again, this is the drafting a running back 6th overall thing, right? Where it's like a running back is one player in that entire situation, and it works when it's Jahmyr Gibbs and you have a great offensive line. But when you don't have the great offensive line, also the Raiders just aren't run blocking the way they did last year. On top of it, it's just there's only so much you can do.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, it's also, like you said, I think it's also just more of these guys aren't playing well, and I expected more from this team. So I definitely think they have better offensive linemen in the way they're performing. So I wouldn't be shocked if it turns around. But they look a long way off right now, and they're not helping their running back at all. So my concerns aren't in Genty, it's in the rest of the team. And yeah, I think that there is a chance this Raiders team could still turn it around, but they haven't looked good the last 2 weeks. It's hard to pick a team that looks that bad over 2/3 of the season.
Yeah. I think the passing attack has looked mostly good for the Raiders, and I'm interested in seeing how they attack the Bears, which I really don't know what to make of this Bears team, because they haven't played like a normal team yet this season. So I'm still trying to figure out exactly what's going on. But could there be room to throw for the Raiders? I certainly think that's possible for them. And I don't know. It's also one other thing about the Raiders. They've moved Jamal Adams to off-ball linebacker instead of safety, and he's done all right there. It's been a small sample size, but he's played pretty well there. Why didn't that happen 5 years ago? Someone moved Jamal Adams to off-ball linebacker. It was not the most obvious shift of all time.
Yeah, I just feel like we got so scared with moving safeties to linebackers. There was that whole Isaiah Simmons thing, and then I don't know. Maybe that was it, but yeah. It just feels like he definitely fits the position more, so it makes sense. And yeah, I agree with you. I think there should be opportunities for Geno to throw the ball here. Jalen Johnson just got put on IR, so he's not playing anytime soon. And this secondary just hasn't quite looked right without him this year. Stevenson did play a little bit better last week, but it hasn't been the same as it was a couple of years ago with Johnson and Stevenson back there.
Yeah, and you want to see the Bears offense continue doing what it's been doing, right?
Yeah,
what did
I mean, like you said, I mean, the Commanders scored 41 points with Marcus Mariota in there. You should be able to you should be able to move the ball a little bit against this team for sure.
Yeah. All right, Kyle, give me a game.
All right, next on my list, let's go to the. We'll go with the marquee game here. Let's go Ravens at Chiefs.
Yeah, I was kind of hopeful I'd be able to give it to you, but that's the advantage of picking first, I guess. The I guess Ravens are 2.5-point favorites on the road. Kind of crazy. I think I'm still gonna pick the Ravens. I just feel like the Chiefs right now have like a mediocre offense and like a pretty good defense, and the Ravens right now have a defense that's not doing anything, but like have still an awesome offense. And I just feel like I'm kind of more on board with Baltimore right now. But yeah, I mean, I think vibes wise, this just feels like the Chiefs win and like get back on track. That's just like that. I can't get that out of my head. And I know that's not how we should do analysis. Like that's just kind of how it feels.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it does seem like they're going to get Worthy back this week. Maybe they throw a little bit more. And like if Marlon Humphrey continues to not play well, that's a matchup that maybe they could take advantage of. But, I still think Ravens just have more on paper talent. And like I said, their issues are they've lost to two really good teams by one score in high scoring affairs. And I mean, I don't even know if the Chiefs could get in a high scoring affair right now. So definitely some issues there. I think a couple things I am interested in is like, can the Chiefs, because they've always been a pass first team with Patrick Mahomes, and you have Patrick Mahomes, you should be, but they've always run the ball like pretty effectively or like smartly at times. And they just haven't really got anything going on the interior this season with those two big backs. And what we just saw from the Ravens defensive line and what they've done, and there's still going to be no Matabuke next week, I believe. So can the Chiefs push them around a little bit, maybe get their run game going finally this season? Because they just haven't got anything out of that group. Can Hunt and Pacheco get a little bit more to this team and provide some impact?
Yeah. I hear you. I mean, and I would say the Chiefs' offense hasn't maybe been quite as bad as the Chiefs. They always do this where they have these long drives, so people assume that they're worse than they actually are because they don't have as many drives as everyone else. But like they're 10th right now in offensive points per drive. So that Chargers game, both teams were scoring pretty heavily. We've seen Mahomes do this, but yeah, I mean the one thing I would also say is like, Mahomes got really lucky without turning the ball over in that Giants game, right? I mean, he had the two backwards passes. He also had a couple of drop picks in there. So the Ravens might have opportunities if Mahomes is trying to do it all. I just feel like the Ravens offense is still a buzzsaw right now. They're fourth in points per drive. They're scoring well over 3 points per drive on the season. So I just feel like I trust that. It's not quite as good as the Colts offense right now, but I still feel like I just trust the best overall unit. And that's right now, that's the Ravens offense.
Yeah. I mean, even that loss to the Lions, like I said, I think that Lions defense is pretty good, but the Ravens are still going to get theirs. And like, I think it's just hard to hold this Ravens team like under 24 points. And maybe it's the Chiefs do these long drives, like you said, and it's the points per drive basis and that lowers it. But it just feels like the Ravens just find ways to generate explosives, create these big plays, and create these monster score lines. So I just think if it turns into that situation, I'm taking Baltimore 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, interesting situation with the Ravens. They have another tough game relatively coming up, but then after that, their schedule does get easier. I think if they go down 1-3, and even if they end up 2-4, I think they're still fine. I think they can still bounce back from that, and I think both teams will ultimately make the playoffs. But you look at the Chiefs, if they lose this 1-3, you do get the Jaguars next week, but they have the Lions on the schedule. They have the Bills on the schedule still, the Broncos twice, obviously, the Chargers again, the Colts. There are some winnable games as well, but like it's not the easiest thing in the world. I mean, loser this game almost certainly, like you're taking them out of like the 1 seed conversation.
Definitely feels like you're heading towards that direction, and I'm more concerned for the Chiefs because, like you said, the Ravens do have the Texans and the Rams next. Then their bye week. I mean, honestly, they might run the table after that bye week. So, they do play Green Bay in there. That's probably their toughest game left after that. So they should be okay.
And they have a week, just the division. It feels like 10 wins could win that division. Whereas for the Chiefs, like they might need 13.
Yeah. So definitely a tough stretch there for them. And I would have more concerns for the Chiefs, even if I'm not, as long as they get to January, I'm not worried about Kansas City, but I think the road to January is going to be difficult this year, barring some massive changes.
Yeah. Let's not forget, there were only 2 seasons ago, the Chiefs were the last team to clinch their division. and they went on to win the Super Bowl. So never over with that team. Only a fool counts them out, but definitely not. I guess I'm a fool because I'm picking the Ravens. So we'll see how that goes. Kyle, I'm going to give you a game. Ravens Chiefs, that's pretty good, but I'm going to give you, I think, the one we're really excited for, the one that's rightfully on prime time, Jets Dolphins. Where are you going here?
This is gross.
Yeah.
This should be flexed to like midnight. We shouldn't even have to talk about it, but I am going to take the Dolphins. Despite the 0-3 start, which is bad, and you could criticize a lot with this team. Neither one of those are hot takes. They've played better the last 2 weeks. I think that they're getting incrementally better. I think this offense is still fine overall. They still have their Dolphin stuff where they create these explosive plays. Tyreek Hill gets into space, stuff like that. I think the Dolphins are going to win this. I think their schedule softens up here to where, this team's probably going to start playing pretty desperate because a lot of jobs are on the line. And I think that they have enough pieces here to get this game done because the Jets just haven't looked very competitive the last few weeks. I know that they had that big comeback, the big block field goal, all that kind of thing. But I just think that the Dolphins are a better roster.
Yeah, I think I would disagree about not looking too competitive, Kyle. They felt pretty competitive last week. I was too competitive last week. But yeah,
it was a 2-score game until that whatever happened.
Like, and I get it. Like replay showed his foot grazed one of our guys. It shouldn't have counted anyway. Had to beat the refs too.
Yeah, exactly. So, look, it was a 2-score game. Some wonkiness happened. Like, that happens. It's football. But, I think what we saw the first half of that Jets game against the Buccaneers and what we saw their second game is probably more indicative of what the Jets are this season.
Yeah, that is honestly a thing that I've been seeing on Bucks Twitter is everyone had to beat the refs. His foot grazed. I think it was not even a long snapper, but the guard. I'm like, guys, come on! Can we not do this?
Because everyone should see that. How dare you?
Right. Yeah. But yeah. I mean, this could actually be a sneaky fun game to watch. Especially if you're a fan of one of these teams, because the Dolphins have no. Sure, the Jets aren't great offensively, but Garrett Wilson is having a nice season, and I'm assuming it's going to be Tyrod Taylor. I guess it could be Justin Fields, but either way, you have competent quarterback play. That can potentially. I think you might rather have Tyrod Taylor in this game with the Dolphins not great secondary that you can throw on. And then the flip side is the Dolphins still do have firepower in the passing game, and the Jets can't cover anybody. Sauce Gardner, didn't have his best game against Tampa Bay, but that's tough team to have a great game against. For the most part, they also just did trade for Jarvis Brownlee Jr. That was a weird trade. I'm not sure why it took so little to get him, but ultimately, these are two teams that you could potentially throw on.
Yes, or honestly, you could potentially run on. This is if it is Justin Fields, I don't know if we've paid attention to this enough, but the Dolphins have just seemingly abandoned run defense altogether. I've seen them put Bradley Chubb, Chop Robinson, and Jalen Phillips on the field at the same time, which isn't a terrible idea for third down situations, but it's they do it frequently. And the Jets do have a good offensive line, and if it is Justin Fields, they should be able to move the ball against those guys on the ground, especially with Fields, Braylon Allen, and Breece Hall. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Jets do move the ball and control the game a little bit that way, but I still don't know if it's going to be enough to keep up with the Dolphins because, like you said, Sauce Gardner can't cover all 5 guys. Yeah.
Also, Kenneth Grant, first-round pick for the Dolphins. It seems like there's 2 defensive tackles every year that are drafted in the first round, and for their rookie year are just unplayable, and then they get better. And Kenneth Grant's he's doing the unplayable part of it at least.
Yeah. We'll hope it gets better after that. But yeah, we're dealing with we're Zach Sealer's out there, and then it's not a lot going on outside of that guy.
Yeah. Let's move on, Kyle. I believe this is time for you to give me a game. Well, where are we going?
Yes, we're going to go, let's just do the next lowest game. Or actually, no, let's do Vikings at Steelers.
Okay, Vikings-Steelers. Yeah, I'm going Minnesota. Don't feel great about picking Carson Wentz, but I feel better about picking Carson Wentz against the Steelers defense, which hasn't been great. Kyle, I was not impressed with Aaron Rodgers performance last week when I went back and watched it. Again, I think he's mostly played fine, but weirdly, it seems like one play a game, he's just throwing directly to the defense and like these like insane reads. He still isn't very mobile, and with the Vikings who want to blitz a lot, I can't help but think about this is an international game. Last season, an international game, Aaron Rodgers' Jets against the Vikings, which was Robert Saleh's last game as a head coach. They fired him after that, even though the Jets defense played pretty well. Rodgers threw 3 picks. I do think DK Metcalf against this Vikings, defense that might blitz a lot, that is the answer, and that is something that can work. But on paper, I like Minnesota in this one.
I do too. I think that they are a better team. Like I said, I don't really trust the Steelers defense right now. However, for a team that has shown a propensity early in the season to make some big plays defensively, you do have TJ Watt still going up against a guy who loves to hold on and make the hero play at quarterback. That could definitely lead to some disaster. But if they keep Carson Wentz in control, don't let him do anything stupid, Minnesota should win this game on paper. So I think they'll move the ball better. I think that they have a more talented roster, and they should win this game that way. But like you said, the Steelers team just does not feel like itself right now. And I don't really – I don't know. I guess we'll see what the bigger sample size says. Can things get better? Sure. But they're not covering very well right now. They're not really throwing the ball all that well. But they are 2-1. That's all that matters.
Yeah. I mean, it's the weirdest thing where how come Aaron Rodgers, he leaves the Packers, their defense all of a sudden gets great. He goes to the Jets who have a great defense, it gets horrible. He goes to the Steelers, they have a great defense, it gets horrible. I guess it's true what people kept saying about Tom Brady is motivates his defense. Maybe that's the difference.
He is just he was the best at it, I guess. So yeah. Definitely bizarre. I don't know. It's just it hasn't worked out for them so far. I mean, it has worked out because they've won 2 games, but I don't trust this team at all right now.
Yeah. So we'll see again. The pass rush can always be a factor. We did see Christian Darrisaw. I believe he's we saw him back right last week. So
yeah,
I believe yeah. So okay, well, so that should help as well. His snap count's so low, but I think they just had like no plays in that game.
Yeah, I mean they had 7 defensive touchdowns. It felt like so. That helps.
I think it was. I don't think it was 7.
Get the facts right on that one. We'll make sure.
Okay. Yeah, I think that would be. I think that was Isaiah Rodgers alone who had 7. I think that's what you're thinking of.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Kyle. Let's move on. I'm going to give you a game now. I'm going to give you. Well, I don't want to pick my team. Let's go Eagles taking on the Buccaneers. Buccaneers have had success against Philadelphia historically. Neither one of these teams is at 100% though. Nolan Smith will not play in this game. Neither will the Buccaneers right tackle. Also, Mike Evans will not play in this game. So it's weird. Where well, I'll just let you go. Who are you gonna pick?
I'm gonna take Tampa. I think that they match up well with this team. I think that they can line up on the defensive line and give Philadelphia some issues. That's what they've done in their last few matchups. So yeah, I think that they're going to be able to slow down this Eagles offense in the run. Now, can Eagles start to drop back and throw, which they did in the second half of that game potentially? But I think the Buccaneers have done just fine in those matchups. I think they should be able to do more of the same. And yeah, I mean, if it gets down to a late game field goal, Tampa Bay is going to win it. So I'm fine with that.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, the late game field goal didn't go great for Tampa Bay last week, but we'll see. Yeah, I mean, I do think one thing that's worth noting is so Bucs fans love to bring up that beating the Eagles I believe it's back-to-back years and have knocked them out of the playoffs multiple times in recent history. The last 2 times, the Buccaneers blew out the Eagles last year. They didn't have A.J. Brown, and we know how much he means. They also didn't have Lane Johnson, who I believe will play in this game. In the playoffs, A.J. Brown wasn't there either. Granted, those were 2 blowouts as well, so it's like A.J. Brown means a lot to this team. I do think that those games wouldn't have been blowouts had he been there. Does that mean the Eagles win those games? I don't know. So I think that's an interesting factor of Todd Bowles likes to blitz and send pressure, especially against Jalen Hurts, who likes to hold on to the ball for a bit because usually it works out. And keep him in the pocket, force him to have to throw. Usually he just hits A.J. Brown, though. That's the counter to that. And it'll be interesting to see what they do this time.
Yeah. No, I definitely think there's some interesting wrinkles to it. Has there been an update on Godwin and Wirfs for this game?
I don't believe so. I believe it's. I think we're going to find out. Like probably. I think we'll find out like Sunday morning, if they're going to play or not.
Yeah, well, that'd be really helpful.
Yeah.
But even without it, I still think that they've shown enough on offense to make it happen. And I still think this Eagles defense has been kind of up and down this year. So I definitely think there's some interesting elements to it. And like you said, AJ Brown can, when he gets going and when they get him some touches, he can turn a game on its head. So maybe he's able to flip the script in a little bit in this one, but it just feels like matchup advantage is Tampa right now.
Yeah. I mean, I understand. I guess here's the other side of things. As much as I am hoping you are correct, why I think I would lean Philadelphia is, I mean, the biggest concern I have is just there seems to be a big mismatch. Eagles defensive line versus this Bucs banged up offensive line, especially if Wirfs doesn't play. This feels like it could be a mess. If Wirfs plays, okay, that's a big difference because then essentially the center, left guard, and left tackle are all healthy. Even if the right side is all injured, you can kind of work with that a little better. But a lot depends on if Wirfs plays in this game.
Yeah, but it's not quite the same Eagles pass rush, especially without Nolan Smith, right? Like they are missing a few guys, which at least helps. I mean, it's still an advantage for the Eagles, but the Eagles aren't at 100% either now at that point. Plus, if you just get Jalen Carter to spit on somebody, you can get him kicked out.
That could be good. If only Ryan Jensen was still playing.
Yeah. Just got to get someone to piss him off. Get Baker in his face. Sign CJ Gardner-Johnson and just have him on offense for the first few snaps.
Yeah, that was I actually I think I tweeted out, but then it was one of those things where I quote tweeted something and then the original tweet got deleted. So I don't know if it like registered. I don't know how Twitter works. I'm a boomer when it comes to this stuff, but but I thought it was like the Bucs should just sign GJ Gardner-Johnson just to like trash talk Baker before each game, and then he'll keep him motivated for the game. Yeah,
that's a pretty good point. Yeah, I agree.
Keep him on the sideline, like it took you 8 plays to score a touchdown. Would have taken me 7.
Man, you got to be so annoying to get cut, continue to get cut like that, right?
Yeah, that seems like that's maybe not because like he's clearly a solid player. Like he's not a bad player, but just the way the Kenyon Green CJ Gardner-Johnson trade will not go down into history books as was that a lose-lose?
Definitely a lose-lose, yeah.
Like the Trent Richardson for a first-round pick one?
Oh, yeah. That one worked out too. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so, yeah, probably more about it. The one thing, I mean, these are 2 very good quarterbacks. I do think the Buccaneers, I'm interested if Godwin is healthy, can they attack this Eagles secondary, which hasn't been as good this year. It's kind of the one thing I feel like the Eagles have taken a bit of a step back. I'm also just worried. I don't think the Bucs can get pressure with 4, so they're going to have to blitz, and they'll probably do that. So could be big AJ Brown game. Will Jamel Dean or Zion McCollum, who's going to try and cover him? We'll have to see. We'll have to see. Zion McCollum 6'2", height wise he works. Weight wise, I don't know so much. So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, this Eagles defense hasn't been perfect either this season, just in general. Yeah. Like I know the Chiefs game they played well. Outside of Mahomes scrambling. But like they didn't look that good against the Dallas game, got fortunate drops, and then they didn't look good against the Rams for a long stretch until the very end.
Yeah, we'll see. Should be this should be a fun one. I believe this is a 1:00 game as well, right? What did the Eagles do to piss off the schedule makers with these bad start times?
I'm assuming they did a 1:00 so it doesn't compete with the Chiefs Ravens.
Oh yeah, that's the.
Yeah, so I'm assuming that's what it is, but it's just a little
bit annoying with these Monday games that we have these 2 games that are both, one of them is even getting buried in the early window.
Yeah, it's a bad slate. They did a bad job.
They did. This is a miss. Kyle, let's move on. Your turn to give me a game. Where are you going?
Yeah, balls at Falcons.
Yep. Only a 1.5 point spread. Took a while, but I think we're both just on the same page here. Both just think, Washington feels like a good bet. In fact, this is another lock candidate. I mean, I don't know. I mean, this is just a rough situation for this Atlanta Falcons, offense right now. I mean, again, last week we're talking about the Panthers. It's like, oh, this is the team you can just walk in and have tremendous success, and like that didn't happen at all. Kyle, there are three quarterbacks who currently have negative EPA on the season. It is JJ McCarthy, Cam Ward, and Michael Penix, which is kind of three young players. So, but it's like, I do think the passing, it was just last year or last week wasn't good enough. Like the first 2 weeks has been not great, but last week that just can't happen.
Yeah, it was bizarre. Look, I wouldn't be shocked if the Falcons win this game. I think that they could play a lot better and play well, but I don't know how you could pick this team after what you saw last week. That was just an abomination. Right. They definitely need to prove it to us again, but I still think what we saw the first 2 weeks was a really good team or a really competitive team. But can they slow down this offense when they struggle to slow down the Panthers in large stretches? And then they couldn't move the ball on the Panthers, which this isn't a great Washington defense, but I just don't even know what the hell happened. So yeah, they got to show it to us again for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, but the way that the Falcons will try and win is to try and run the ball and play good defense, which is how they've won games so far this season. So can they do that? The Commanders' run defense has been good through 3 weeks. So again, small sample size, how much that is, who you're playing, and all that. But still, it has been good. 7th best in rush EPA defensively. But that's the move. I think that we need Drake London to get going, and it's not his fault. He's a great player. They need the passing attack to work in this game. Lattimore is again, not to keep harping on it, but this is not a great secondary right now for the Commanders. If you can pass on this secondary, and they have the weapons to do it, if the Falcons are going to win, that's how they do it.
Yep, and that comes down to Penix playing to his standards. So I mean, if this is, how bad does that get if he doesn't work out, man? Because then you not only paid Kirk Cousins, but then you drafted him in the first round. I mean, that wild offseason could result in nothing. You take your chances for sure, but just so fascinating to see how this is playing out right now.
Yeah. There's people saying, are they going to trade Kirk Cousins? I mean, I don't know who wants. I feel like people did not watch Kirk Cousins last year. If you're thinking that he would be good in a different situation, the Bengals. Oh yeah, put Kirk Cousins behind that offensive line. That's a good idea. No, I don't think that. Michael Penix is a young player. He's shown flashes. Last week was a disaster. I'm not giving up on him just yet. But the Commanders' offense is good. I mean, they had a bounce back week last week. Mariota's a really good backup. It might be Jaden Daniels playing as well, so we'll see. But Commanders' offense is good. I think they'll be able to at least hold their own against Atlanta. Atlanta just has to find a way to attack down the field.
Yep. You gotta get some big plays in the passing game. There's just no excuse against this team. Drake London should win that matchup against Lattimore.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on, Kyle. I'll give you your team. Patriots going up against the Panthers. 5.5-point favorites. Patriots are back. Kyle, who do you got in this one?
I don't know about back, but we should win this game. So give me the Patriots. We have to win this game, or else you could basically kiss the season goodbye. Can't fall to 1-3, especially with the teams they've played to start the season. Panthers did look good last week. We don't know exactly what that was, but I still think there should be opportunities to throw on this team. Drake May, I think, has played very well this season and should be able to make some things happen against this team. And yeah, I think that the Patriots have something going right now offensively and should, fingers crossed, get Christian Gonzalez back in this defense, which I think will fix a lot of their biggest issues because this defensive line has played well. The secondary has not to start the year. And I do hope that they're able to get that going and get Gonzalez back on the field.
If Christian Gonzalez plays, or I know that Ted McMillan's a little bit banged up, so if he's not 100%, that just feels like we keep talking about this as a one-player offense outside of Bryce Young. If you have really one receiver, if Gonzalez can cover him, or if McMillan can't go 100%, that just feels like game over for Carolina before you even start.
Yeah, and the Patriots have defended the run really well. I do like Chuba Hubbard, but I'm not in love with Chuba Hubbard at the same time. So they should be able to stop the run still in this game, make things happen. So it really just comes down to, can the secondary play to its potential, which I just think there's too many good players to continue to play this bad. I still think with Gonzalez and Davis out there, you're not going to have as many weak links. If they're able to target Alex Austin, then maybe there's a bit of an issue still.
Yeah, one thing kind of lost in the shuffle is we talked about in the preseason, like, could this Panthers secondary be okay? And it kind of has been. Like, it kind of has like done what you were hoping for entering this year. Now, again, part of that was Michael Penix throwing right at them a couple times last week. But but that's kind of something that you look at. And listen, I mean, the Patriots really struggled protecting the football last week. Turned the ball over 5 times. Panthers might not be a great unit, especially when it comes to their defensive line, but can they get some timely turnovers? When I say defensive line, obviously Derek Brown's awesome, but other than that, but can they get the turnovers? That's the other thing.
Yeah, I mean, it comes down to that. Like, if you are losing to If you are losing to this team, it is probably because you turned the ball over again. Maybe not 5 times like last time, but like you have to take care of the football because that is a great equalizer when you're playing a team that's behind you. Like you said, they have played well in the secondary. J.C. Horn is very good. Mike Jackson has played really well to start the year too, so they got a couple options there. But as long as they're smart with the football and taking care of it and making the right throws, which Drake May 90% of his plays this year I think have been very good. It's that 10% that feels like it's killing him right now.
We have Michael with a super chat, our resident Panthers fan, saying, "Are you scared, Kyle?" Yeah, Kyle, are you scared?
Not particularly, but I am like nervous that we need to get a win and get back on the board here. So yeah, I mean, the Patriots aren't a team that are going to attack corners on the outside either. Like Hunter Henry had a fantastic game last week and has played really well. Him and Austin Hooper have both had their moments. They're going to use their tight ends. They're going to use Diggs over the middle of the field. Demario Douglas hasn't been as involved in the offense start this year, but I anticipate if it's a matchup, he's going to take advantage. You have Travion Henderson out of the backfield. They have playmakers that can work over the middle of the field.
I saw a stat that was in terms of EPA per play rushing. 3 worst teams right now are the Raiders, the Patriots, and the Chargers, all of whom took a running back with a premium pick in this most recent draft. It's one player on the board, right? Like it can only do so much. And I mean, who even is the running back right now for the Patriots?
Yeah, I mean that's the debate now. So if they're gonna draft a running back in the second round, in my opinion, you have to use him. And he's been used some, but they've still gone with a lot of Antonio Gibson and Ramondre Stevenson, who both put the ball on the ground. Ramondre Stevenson did it twice. So I think that there is going to be more Travion Henderson, but there was even still concerns about how he was, getting comfortable in the playbook and is he ready for that sort of workload. So all that put together, I think it's they gotta figure out how they want to work this backfield. I still think Stevenson's going to be involved, and he has to be better than what he's been.
One more stat before we move on. Kyle, you know who is 8th in EPA per play among quarterbacks this season?
Is it going to be Drake May?
Drake May, your guy. There you go.
Yeah, and if you take away some of the negatives, he's probably even higher.
Yeah, might be not the 3 best defenses on the year, but hey, 8th is 8th. Let's move on, Kyle. Let's go to time for you to give me a game.
Yeah, we are going to go Bengals at Broncos.
Okay. Let's see. Okay. Interesting. So I had this one a little bit lower. This was actually my second lowest of the week. I mean, I'm picking the Broncos to win. Broncos, I think, have played very well despite the 1-2 record. The Bengals, we talked about how bad their defense is. They're currently worst in offensive EPA on the season, largely due to that game last week. So if this is the worst offense compared to a defense that we thought would be so bad, even if it was the best offense in the league, they still might miss the playoffs. I think I'm going to pick the Broncos to win. Now, Bo Nix has not had a great start to the year. Like, that's just what's happened, and I don't know what's going on there. And the Bengals defense has been opportunistic at times this season. But no, I mean, you got to pick the Broncos here, and there's not really a great game left to pick, so I get why you're throwing one. But yeah, got to go with Denver here.
Yeah, I agree with you. You got to go with Denver. Their secondary has been thrown out a little bit more than we expected to start this year. So maybe can we get Jamar Chase going a little bit in this game? I think that's a possibility if you're going to paint the Bengals victory. But this has to be the get-right game for Bo Nix, right? This defense is still problematic. Yeah. He's got to be able to throw the ball on this team. And yeah, like you said, I think he's PFF's lowest graded quarterback. And there's just not a lot of – I don't think he He just hasn't been good enough. I mean, it's that simple.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that he's got to play a lot better for this Broncos team to reach his potential.
It's just putting the ball in harm's way too much. That's really the key issue right now. I think, like, I still believe in him as a player, but yeah, I mean, that's just, so it was kind of an issue year one, but it wasn't that big of a deal. And again, he's had to throw more to maybe they like to have him throw. And that's been an aspect here. So can the Cincinnati Bengals continue to make plays defensively? And also, like, I will say, as bad as that was for Jake Browning, I don't know if he is just that bad. It's possible he just had like a horrible game. Granted, Denver defense is not necessarily a get-right game for him.
Yeah. That's very true. So, yeah, I think it could work both ways if you're going to try and talk yourself into a Bengals win. But at the same time, like, it is not the matchup I think you're going to say, oh, this is the Jake Browning game for sure. So I definitely think there's some concerns there. And we'll see if they can get it going. But, I mean, it just feels like this Bengals season's so lost already.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, being built around your star quarterback and having your star quarterback go down early, that doesn't help things. So we'll see if something can happen. But yeah, let's move on. Let's go to Kyle. I'm going to give you a game. I'm going to go. Well, I'll go a divisional matchup. Titans-Texans. Texans have really not looked great to start the year. The Titans haven't looked great to start the year or last year. So the worst overall team have yet to win here. But divisional matchup against an offense that's really struggled this season. Can they pull off the upset?
I don't think so. I think it's 0-4. This defense is starting to get thrown at a little bit more, and maybe that was a Bo Nix thing, like we said in week one, where they looked okay. And so, yeah, I got to take the Texans here. Texans are in desperate situation here at this point. They got to win this game if they want to save their season. And this is a team we had expectations for. So I don't know if they're going to score a ton of points, even though the Tennessee defense hasn't looked very good the last couple of weeks. But they should score enough in this game. I still think the defense for the Texans is very good. They should be able to slow down this Titans offense, which has looked just horrific to start the season. So, yeah, give me the Texans, and I'd probably lean -7.5 even.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I think, again, picking this late, you're trying to figure out a way to, to just to make things, what could possibly happen. So what is the way this works? It's, again, if the Texans offense continues to struggle, but you're right. I mean, what is the avenue for the Titans to be able to have success against this really good Texans defense? There probably isn't many.
Yeah, I mean, it would come down to, Tony Pollard and Calvin Ridley playing better, which I guess isn't out of the realm of possibility, but they've just looked horrendous to start the season. So they're not doing any favors for the rookie quarterback. And, they're calling for the coach firing in the fan base. It just feels like it's a team that, any team that wants to make the playoffs should beat this team.
Yeah. I missed this one. This was 5 minutes ago. Michael said, I think the lesser stupid team wins. So who knows? I'm assuming that's, that was the Panthers, Patriots.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Michael, with all due respect, I don't know if it's less or stupid. I don't feel great about the Panthers.
Yeah. But the Patriots have been plenty stupid. So you never know.
That's true. I also like the framing of less stupid. It's like, it's not like whoever is a smarter team. It's whoever's less stupid.
Yeah. There's no brains going on there at all. That's all it is.
No, this is the battle between the second worst total offense and EPA per play versus the fourth worst Titans and Texans.
Yeah, this probably can. I don't think there's going to be a lot of eyes on this outside of.
Why isn't this prime time?
Yeah, exactly. We might as well just put it Monday night at this point. Put all the bad games on Monday night.
Ooh, that's not a bad idea.
That'd be so ridiculous.
Okay, well, let's move on. Kyle, give me a game.
All right, we're gonna go with Chargers at Giants.
Gotcha. Yeah, not a bad pick here. I do think with the Jackson Dart of it all, that I don't know if that changes things, but that's at least interesting. I don't know. This Chargers team just looks so awesome right now, and Justin Herbert, the way that talk about how much receivers matter. And it's not getting new receivers. It's just the receivers start. Quentin Johnston. I mean, he's the best receiver on the Chargers. He just is. Like he's been playing better than Ladd McConkey this season, and that's not disrespect to Ladd McConkey, who's really good. I mean, some of these throws Herbert is making. It's he can run an offense like an elite game manager, and he's now being an elite playmaker. Like, I think it's very possible he ends up in that elite tier when this season is done. Of like, we talk about the top 4. I think we might have a top 5 once this season is done.
I mean, the way he's playing, it definitely has to be considered for sure. So definitely don't hate it at all. And, the Chargers have just been pretty good at everything. So, not a lot of notes there. They should win this game. The Giants secondary is a bit suspect. Drew Phillips had some rough moments in that game last week. So it just feels like the Chargers should be able to move the ball and be just fine. I think the Giants fans should still be a little excited, though. You're going to get all these guys on the field. You're going to get, Scatabo has had a couple pretty good weeks in a row. Mm-hmm. I think you get excited about that and say, let's see what this team is made of. So, yeah, I think that the Chargers are going to win this game comfortably, I think. But, some excitement here for the Giants. And I don't think it's that much of a difference at quarterback at this point. Could
we see just like, I don't know, Jackson Dart comes in, just starts tossing up jump balls to Malik Neighbors, and they could find success that way?
Maybe. Yeah, I mean, that wasn't much different than their strategy before, though. So,
right. At least he's not going to throw it up to the. Ideally, isn't it going to throw up right to the safety?
Yeah, I mean that's the hope. So he could still do that. It's his first game. We'll see.
Yeah, sure. Let's move on. Also, if anyone's tuning in now saying, wait, why are you starting with these games towards the end? We started an hour ago. We started early, so you can go back and check the beginning of the show there. So sorry about that. But yeah, Kyle, I'm going to give you a game. I don't know where your lock is. I'm just going to give you what's on my board. Packers, Cowboys. Where are you going?
Yeah, it's got to lock up the Packers here. This feels overreactionary to have it -6.5. It should be -9.5. Packers are going to win this game. This defense is still good. That was a ridiculous loss. Their secondary has just been phenomenal to start this season. I think even though you like the Cowboys passing attack and what they've done, I still think the Packers probably have a matchup advantage there, especially with CeeDee Lamb out potentially. I think he's out. I actually didn't double check, but
he's out.
Yeah, so he's not playing, so I really like that even more. And this Cowboys, I know the Packers often struggled last week, but the difference between the Browns defense and the Cowboys defense is literally 1-32. Give me the Packers offense getting back on shape, and Packers should win this one comfortably. They should win it by 30.
Yeah, I agree. It's like even if we like Dak enough, and without CeeDee Lamb, like they're not going. I agree. 6.5 at the very least, it should be 7.5. The Packers are going to win by a touchdown.
Yeah, I definitely think so. I just think that they're better across the board. I think Dak's had a phenomenal season too. Mm-hmm. Every bad play that happened to the Cowboys offense has been 100% not Dak's fault, outside of a 4th and goal that he threw right to a defender because he was just like, I got to throw this before I get sacked sort of play. And so I just think he's been really good this season, but I think the Packers secondary is really good. And without Lamb and that security, I mean, what is he going to throw? Is Jake Ferguson going to have 20 receptions this week? Because he had 13 or whatever last week. I mean, what is it going to take for them to be able to move the ball enough in this game? So this Cowboys offense is okay. But if it's a good offense against a great defense and a good offense against a terrible defense, I'm going to take the team that's better on both sides.
Right. Yeah. That feels pretty fair. No, I think this is the smart lock for you, Kyle. This is the Sunday night game. It's we should mention Micah Parsons' return to Jerry World.
What?
Yes. I mean, whatever. He's probably going to have a sack and everyone's going to go crazy. But like, yeah. I mean, this is this is a lot more about that'll. What do you think will happen there? What do you think happened with Parsons versus the? He'll have a sack at some point, right? He's gotta.
Yeah, we'll get fire Nico Harrison and fire Jerry Jones chants in the crowd.
Yeah,
I don't think this will be quite as awkward as the Mavericks-Lakers game when that happened and they went back to Dallas. But I don't think there's a lot of Cowboys fans really mad at Micah Parsons for this scenario. So, yeah, I think it's definitely going to be a interesting crowd. And I think he is going to play well.
Also, shout out to Micah Parsons. Like, totally nailed the media for this. Like, every player that demands trade gets hated by the fan base. So Parsons, like, he's like, hey, maybe just like be honest and be like, hey, this is why I'm like annoyed and this is why I'm leaving. And the fans are like, oh, that makes sense.
It's also, this has just been so many years of Jerry Jones just being annoying.
Yeah.
Like, I think they've been wanting to make a change with their ownership group, like ceding control of like football operations.
Right.
And so this is just another nail in the coffin, it feels like.
Yeah, should be a good storyline game. Not sure if it'll be a great game, but who knows? Sometimes, we didn't think week 1 would be a great game with the Cowboys against the Eagles, and that turned out to be good. So we will see. Kyle, you were going to give me a game, and you were going to give me Browns and Lions, right?
Yes. Yeah. This should be good. The best offense of the last 2 weeks against the best defense of the first 3 weeks. So there's at least that, but the Lions should win, right?
Yes, I am picking the Lions to win this one. Again, I agree. I think that the Browns defense is just really good. And like, it's a shame this offense is so inept that they can't get much going. But like, and I don't think that'll change too much here, but could this defense give the Lions trouble? I think it's possible, but I think this will probably end up going the way week 2 went with the Browns versus the Ravens, where it's like defense kind of keeps you in it for a bit, but like there's just too much firepower for the Lions offense. 8.5. I don't know if the Lions get past that, but I definitely think that they're going to win.
Yeah, they're going to win. They should win. Browns, very impressive, very fun story last week, but I don't anticipate that happening 2 weeks in a row. I think the Lions should be able to move the ball enough. I mean, what happens if they put like 200 yards on the ground again? Like then, like we have to start saying some wild things about the Lions this year, right? Are they the best team in the NFC if they win this one convincingly?
I mean, I don't think that they're the best. I don't think that beating the Browns can cause you to be the best team in the NFC. I think you. I don't know what the answer is. They have, Packers fans are going to say, "Hey, they haven't even proven they're the best team in their division just yet." Although they didn't beat the Browns, so I think the Lions are. I think they have as good of a chance as anybody in the NFC. I'll say that.
Yeah, that's probably fair. So. Definitely, not a ton of storylines for this game, but I think it should be fun still, regardless.
Yeah, this is gonna be one of those like, when I go back and watch the tape on Monday, I'm like, oh, it'll be a fun watch.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna watch half the game. Interestingly, like this should be a game you just peer over at. Like if you do the quad box, like let's the Lions offense is on the field against the Browns defense. Let's watch that.
Kyle, this is an 8.5 point spread. That's a big spread. It is almost half of what the final game we're going to talk about is. Saints Bills, 16.5 points. Kyle, I was going to lock up the Bills just because it would be so fun to lock up a team that is 16.5 point favorites, but ultimately I knew this was going to go last, and since you were picking first, I couldn't. But yeah, I mean, this is quite. What is the pathway here for victory for the New Orleans Saints? Is it kidnap Josh Allen, maybe?
Yeah, they some sort of like they got to hurt somebody. Like, let's hope we don't condone it, but like Greg Williams is back on the sideline or whatever.
Okay, that would be good. Yeah, that would help.
Yeah, that's got to be the solution here. Look, I think that there is that game got away from them, but like I still think this defense is okay. They held the run pretty well in that game, but Sam Darnold did whatever he wanted. I still think this defense is okay for the Saints. Like, it's not a disaster. I will say the one thing. It does feel like a little bit of the time, the last couple weeks at least, the Bills have been playing with their food a little bit. Like, I know that game ended 30-10 against the Jets, but like, it took like a late score, I think, if I remember correctly, in that one too. And then the Dolphins.
There was the roughing the punter thing when the Dolphins were going to get the ball tied with 10 minutes left.
Yeah, it really does feel like they're like, okay, James Cook, you got paid, so we're just gonna we're going to use you now. It's like, it really feels like that sort of situation where they want to make sure he gets his touches because they paid him the money to do it. So it does feel like that they're kind of messing with their food a little bit, but like they're going to win.
Yeah, I still don't love this secondary for the Bills right now. Again, part of that is no Maxwell Harrison, but like I guess that's the one thing. It's like, can you scheme up plays, get open? Spencer Rattler leading the league in turnover-worthy plays. There is some good aspects of him as well, though. Like, can you? That's the way you stay competitive. But yeah, I agree. It's just there's too much on offense for the Bills, and the Saints defense just hasn't been great. And their special teams have been bad. Got to fix that. So, not great for the Saints.
Not great. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of bad things here. So this isn't a good matchup for them. But yeah, I mean, like this isn't like this isn't the same as like I wouldn't put in like when we've seen those like really, really bad football teams that are like 1 win, 0 wins, 2 wins maybe. It doesn't feel like that, but it's still it's not far off, at least. You don't have a good quarterback. And I do think Olave has played pretty well this season, but like in the Saints, the Bills defense, like you said, they haven't covered anybody, it feels like, since like week 8 last year. So can they kind of, figure that out this season as it goes along? We'll see. But I just think that this is two different class of opponents.
Yeah. Kyle, let me know where you can find us on Twitter before we head out.
Yeah, make sure to follow us on Twitter. That is at Jackson Kruger. Make sure to follow me at by Kyle Grona. And make sure to follow the account page at On the Sideline JK. That is at On the Sideline JK.
Of course, if you like audio-only podcasts, anywhere you get your podcast, search On the Sideline Podcast. We should be available there. That was our show. Thanks to everybody for watching or listening. And until next time, have a good one.
Peace.